Alrighty, so we are now down to just one day of round of 16 action left, as this third day of round of 16 action is in the books, and unfortunately, we still not really have a true upset in the round of 16. I mean, after all the chaos we have seen in the group stage, it's kind of a bit of a letdown. The fact that we didn't really see any upset in the round of 16, and that I'm hoping maybe that will be the case. I mean, Morocco is probably our last opportunity of potentially seeing them pull off a big upset. Though the first game that we're going to talk about is actually something that we saw for the first time in this tournament, and that is a game that went the distance. And watching this game between Japan and Croatia, I had a feeling this one was going to go to extra time with the way that it was kind of even, and there was definitely some half chances for both of these teams, but it always looked like this was going to get to extra time, especially once Croatia got the equalizer. So I kind of started to not write as much notes because, when a game goes to extra time, I basically had to kind of almost cramp in those notes because I know I'm going to take a lot of notes, knowing the fact that there's going to be an extra 30 minutes of soccer and potentially a PK shootout. And I did a pretty good job. I mean, I didn't really run out of rooms. I still have some rooms to spare, despite the fact that I had to put the first half of extra time and the second half of extra time and the PK shootout notes in this one. Though, that being said, early on, Taniguchi had a chance for the Japanese to get the 1-0 lead, but he heads it just wide before Levankovic. Clearance was actually partially blocked by Maeda, but goes wide there. So, nervy moment by the Croatian goalkeeper. I mean, almost a bad mistake there. Though, on the other end, Gunda did deny Perisic, and this kind of came after just a terrible giveaway from the Japanese backline. And I thought early on, both teams, you can definitely see there was some nerves early in this, knowing the fact that, it's a winner go home kind of situation. The backline for both of these teams was definitely a little bit shaky. There was then two Japanese players tried to stab one in from close range after a beautiful cross that was coming in from Japan, but they couldn't quite do so. And then fast forward to the 41st minute, Kameda puts it high in the near post, but then in the 44th minute, Japan takes the lead. It's Maeda scoring from Yoshida to give Japan a 1-0 lead. They did check to see whether or not if it is offside, which was not, but it was damn close. I mean, when you look on the replay, and especially look at the technology that FIFA, of course, provide in terms of the offside, it was very close. And I wouldn't have been surprised that that goal would have been disallowed, knowing the fact in this tournament that has just been a very controversial topic about the VAR usage and the way that they spot offside. I wasn't going to be surprised that that was going to be chopped off and that we're going to once again talk about Japan getting screwed over. But thankfully that was not the case. And yeah, they take the 1-0 lead, and that was the scoreline heading into halftime. Now in the second half, Kamada tried to make it 2-0 for Japan, but he puts it high from long range. And then on the other end, Kovacic puts it wide from close range. And again, it was an even start for both of these teams who were looking for the next crucial goal. And it's Croatia the one that got the next crucial goal and got the equalizer. It's Ivan Perisic scoring from Lovren to tie the game up at 1 apiece. But then on the other end, Levankovic had to deny Endo, who tried to give Japan the lead back. Don then had a shot that goes wide to Levankovic, and then Gunda had to deny Modric, who tried to hit one off the volley. And again, chances continue to come for both of these teams. Again, I know both of these teams were getting chances, but knowing the fact that, both goalkeepers were doing well, there was definitely some half chance in this one. I kind of had a sense that maybe this was going to go to extra time. Though Budimir did hit it wide on the header before Perisic looking for his second goal, but most importantly, the second one for Croatia to take the lead, but his shot was deflected and goes wide. Then Pasalic hits it wide from close range in the 86th minute. And, one of the things that was interesting that they talked about throughout the broadcast was the heavy legs for Croatia. Because keep in mind, this Croatian team, it is definitely one of the older teams in this tournament, and knowing the fact that, they pretty much have put the same starting 11 for the past couple of games, you wonder would heavy legs and fatigue is going to be an issue. And I think that's also a big talking point as we get into these knockout stage game where, for teams that, had to fight very hard to get into the group stage, and that once they get out of the group stage and into these knockout round, they could face that problem of fatigue and potentially run out of gas. But give credit to Croatia, they didn't really seem to affect them that much, and they were pressing to try to get get that winner before we go to extra time, but unfortunately they couldn't do so. So for the first time in this World Cup, we go to extra time. And in the first half of extra time, Taniguchi hits it wide from close range. And again, knowing Croatia was kind of starting to maybe running on E a little bit, Japan was pressing early to try to get the lead. Levakovic did deny Mitoma from long range, and we had to the first half of extra time pretty much the same as we were at the end of regulation at 1 apiece. And in the second half of extra time, Lavaha hits one right to Gunda. And I thought Croatia, once again, they started to have some possession, and it feels like they were trying to be aggressive. They want to finish this one into extra time, and, Japan looked like they were trying to take their chances in penalty because they were starting to become a little bit conservative in the second half of extra time. Mayer did try to walk it off for Croatia, but he puts it wide from long range, and it was not by much. Like, it was just wide of that left side of the post. So, with no winners after 120 minutes, we go to a shootout, and in the shootout, it's Pasalic, the one that converts the winning penalty for Croatia after Levakovic was able to save free Japanese penalty. And while it was great save from Levakovic to save free penalty kick in a PK shootout, let's be honest, those penalty kick that Japan took, yeah, it basically made the Philadelphia Union proud of how they of course took their penalty in the MLS Cup. And I know there's going to be some Union fans that's going to be very triggered about that. I apologize for that, but you knew that was coming with the way that this game went to a PK shootout, and one team was terrible at it and the other was able to do so. I mean, Croatia did miss one of their penalty, but in the end, because of the fact that their goalkeeper and partially the Japanese probably didn't practice penalty kick shootout coming into this game, because most of the PKs were really bad and was very easy for Levakovic to save. That's why Croatia is able to move on into the next round, as they were able to win 3-1 in the PK shootout. And the shots in this one, 17 shots compared to 13 that Japan has. Both teams had 4 shots on goal, 5 shots off target compared to 6 that Croatia had, 7 shots that was blocked compared to 4 that Japan has, and possession-wise, 58% possession compared to the 42% possession that Japan has in this one. And again, this was kind of one of those games that, unfortunately somebody had to win because of how even it played out, and unfortunately Japan, of course, got on the wrong end of that stick. But at least the good news is for them is that at least they kind of maybe tired out Croatia a little bit, because as much as I know Croatia, it's kind of amazing the fact that with an aging kind of team that they have, and they still have enough the energy. I mean, yeah, they just put like 120 minutes in their legs on top of all those group stage games that they have, and that I don't know, do they have enough left, knowing the fact that in this World Cup, knowing teams have to play every like 3 to 4 days, it's going to be very difficult, at least for this Croatia team, to get them in the next round and pretty much play full 90 minutes in a full intensity. And they kind of have to do it, because in the next game that I'm going to talk about between Brazil and South Korea, the team they'll be facing in the quarterfinal is indeed going to be Brazil. And in this game against South Korea, I will say this: yes, it was ugly, especially in the first half, where Brazil basically showed you why they are considered the favorites of winning the World Cup this tournament. South Korea did have some chances in this one, and I just wonder if they would have put away their chances in this one, maybe this wouldn't be as such a one-sided affair as we head into the second half. Because again, after one half, Brazil were leading like 4-0 against South Korea. And early on, it was actually South Korea the one that had most of the possession, though it was Brazil the one that gets the opening goal, as in the 7th minute, it's Vinicius scoring from Neymar here to give Brazil a 1-0 lead. Neymar, of course, back with this Brazilian team, and it's safe to say that he definitely made a huge impact for this Brazilian attack. And then in the 11th minute, he would actually he wouldn't draw the penalty, but his teammate Richarlison would draw a penalty here after Jung Wei-young brought down Richarlison in the box. So a penalty was given to Brazil, and here comes Neymar stepping up to try to score in 3 consecutive World Cup in his career, which is something that not a lot of players have been able to do. And he joined that exclusive club by scoring that from the penalty. And yeah, Brazil were up 2-0 in this one, and it was just a nightmare start for South Korea. Like, you knew they were going to be up for the task, and finding yourself 2-0 down after just 12 minutes is definitely not a good thing. But like I said, South Korea, they did try to make this interesting and did fought hard and actually create some really dangerous chances. One of them came in the 17th minute when Allison had to deny Kwon Hee-chan from long range. Coming into this game, Allison didn't actually had to make a save for Brazil because during the two group stage game that he was in, he didn't need to make a save because Brazil basically allowed 0 shots on goal on their opposition, and he was definitely a busy man too because South Korea definitely created some good chances that Allison had to be at his best to keep this one at a clean sheet for a bit. Before Hwon In-beom would then blast it high from long range, and again the shots were actually even between both of these teams. It was 3 shots apiece, 2 on target for both of these teams. But then in the 29th minute, Brazil would make it 3-0. It's Richarlison scoring from Thiago Silva here to make it 3-0 in favor of Brazil, and that is Brazilian football at its best. I mean, that is just champagne football with the way that Brazil pretty much play a tic-tac-toe there. They're in the 18-yard box, and that's something that just shows you why Brazil is just so dangerous. I mean, that's kind of unstoppable if you're South Korea with how well did they work on that goal there. But nevertheless, it was 3-0 in favor of Brazil. Rafinha trying to join the goal scoring party, but he blasted high from long range. I thought he played very well in this game and was probably a little bit unlucky. He didn't get on the score sheet. But there's definitely a goal for quality in this game. I mean, it is pretty much shown in this one where Brazil was just rolling in this one against South Korea. Though, that being said, as I said that, the South Koreans did create another opportunity, and Allison had to make another big save, this time denying Kwon Hee-chan from a tight angle. And again, South Korea, they had some big chances in this game, but not burying it is why partially this is, of course, a 3-0 lead for Brazil, and that again, if they could have buried those chances, maybe this game would not be 3-0, and it probably would have been closer. I would say maybe it would be like 3-2 or 2-2 in this one, but it would not be like 3-0, and Brazil would be in complete control. In fact, after Casemiro pulls it wide from long range, in the 36th minute, Brazil will make it 4-0. It's Lucas Paqueta scoring from Vinicius to make it 4-0 in favor of Brazil after just 36 minutes. And keep in mind, I think they mentioned in South Korea it was like something like 4 in the morning, and I wouldn't blame any South Koreans decide to turn their TV off after this, because yeah, 4-0 lead for Brazil is pretty much done and dusted. In fact, the game becomes so one-sided that John Strong decided to ask Jeff Shreves about the celebration that Brazil has, because every celebration that they had, they kind of did a little bit of a dance, and that, yeah, you know that when things are really one-sided, when they started to kind of talk about something that, you usually never thought that Jeff Shreve would, of course, give some opinions about. I mean, he's more known as the injury kind expert guy from those FIFA game. I didn't think that he was going to maybe have some information about the Brazil dance celebration. But that being said, in the first man of stoppage time, and oh, by the way, I wonder who, of course, have that in the bingo card in terms of what happened in this one. But that being said, in the first man of stoppage time, Kim Sun-gro would then deny Paqueta from close range before he had to deny Richarlison, and Neymar actually got the rebound to it, but he missed that one wide there. I really felt bad for Kim Sun-gro in this one, because the 4 goals that he conceded, there was nothing he could have done in all 4 of those goals, and that I would also say that if it wasn't for him making some big save a couple times, especially in the second half, this could have been much more uglier than the 4-1 scoreline would indicate it. But we do head to halftime with a 4-0 lead for Brazil, and the second half kind of started to not really pay too much attention into this one. I was watching both of these games on replay simultaneously, and knowing the fact that this is at 4-0, like there was really not much to watch. Though I did at least kind of put some notes on the board still. And in the 47th minute, Sung Hyun-min actually had a big opportunity as he went through on goal there, but he was denied by Allison there. So I mean that I think that's something that we've seen it before, going back to those Tottenham versus Liverpool kind of game where Allison, of course, would have to deny Song every time time Tottenham was going on the attack, and this was an example of it again. But for Sung, that's one that he wants to have back, because that was a big opportunity for him to finally score a goal in this World Cup. Then Kim Sung-gru had to deny Rafinha from close range, and again, there's just no mercy shown by Brazil. They were looking to try to get that fifth goal in this one. Rafinha then had a free kick shot that was deflected wide before Kim Sung-gru had to deny Rafinha again, this time in the near post. But then on the other end, Alisson had to deny Hun Hee-chan, and then there was a scramble in the box. But thankfully, in a Brazilian perspective, the flag, of course, went up, so that kind of stopped the play. But again, to South Korea's credit, they haven't give up, and because of the fact that they have not give up, they were rewarded with a goal. And what a goal this was from Park Sun Ho there. I mean, he absolutely hit that one on a rope from outside the range. It was a thunder strike there, certainly in contention for goal of the tournament. And even though, that doesn't really mean much, more like a consolation goal, the Korean fans were going nuts. Because, again, yes, they know that they're well beaten, but, anytime you're able to score against Brazil, that is definitely an accomplishment. And certainly, again, for South Korea, I feel like they deserve to have a goal here, because, again, I know the score line will show how dominant Brazil is, but again, what's going to be missing is the fact that if you actually watch this game, South Korea did have their opportunity to at least get 1 or 2 goals into this one. In fact, up to this point, it's kind of a little bit surprised that they didn't get a goal, and it just also showed you how Alisson, the quality of him, and the fact that even though he hasn't had anything to do so far in this World Cup, when he's called upon, he has made some big save in this one. In fact, he had to make another big save this time, denying Kwon Sun Cho as the flag went up. And even though that wouldn't have counted if Cho puts it in, still a big save there from Alisson there. But in the 89th minute, Dani Alves with a scissor kick that was blocked away. I mean, imagine if Dani Alves would have scored that one. I mean, a 39-year-old Dani Alves would have scored and goal in this World Cup. That just kind of maybe is an icing on the cake of just a perfect day for Brazil in this one, and they cruised their way into the quarterfinal with a 4-1 win over South Korea. Shots in this one, 18 shots compared to 8 that South Korea has, but keep in mind, shots on goal, 8 shots on goal compared to 6 that South Korea has. So despite the fact that South Korea were outshot badly in this one, in terms of the shots on goal, it was not that much. They actually put a lot that was on target, which just kind of shows you that they were actually being clinical in front of goal. 7 shots off target compared to actually that doesn't look right. That doesn't actually add up. I think I was actually going to put 0 shots off target that, because 6 + 6 + 2 does not equal 8 there. Both teams had 2 shots that was blocked in possession wise, 53% possession compared to 47% possession that South Korea has. And again, if this is the Brazil that we're gonna see throughout the knockout round, I don't really see a lot of team able to beat them. Like, maybe France could be that team to do so, and this is why I go back to what I said about France yesterday after they demolished Poland there, and how there's not a lot of team that is able to beat the quality that the French has had, maybe besides Brazil. Well, after seeing this performance by Brazil, yeah, there's something tells me that they could be on a collision course for the World Cup final. I mean, after all, I did predict that that's the World Cup final, and with the way how both of these teams have been playing at the ability that they can actually go all the way, that could be the case. Because, again, in the next round, I think Brazil is going to be heavy favorites again against Croatia, and I would definitely bet a lot to say that they're going to move on to the next round, because they have the fresher legs against a very, very tired Croatian team, and that, if they can play in like what they did in this one against South Korea, which, I think Croatia is going to give Brazil a little bit more of a challenge, but if that quality continues to show in that game against Croatia, I think that they will easily made it to the semifinal. And already a lot of people have talked about the semifinal, how it could be a possible between Brazil versus Argentina. Like, that's a dream semifinal match if we're going to get to, although, again, there's a lot that has to go right with the way that Argentina still have to play against the Netherlands, and I've already mentioned how the Netherlands have been playing very well in this tournament, so it's no guarantee that Argentina can get past them. But man, as much as I know I'm kind of disappointed we haven't seen the big upsets as what we've seen in the group stage, and there hasn't been like that pure chaos that we were expecting in the knockout round. it also means that at least we still have the best team in the tournament, and you have these mouth-watering matchups that we could see in the quarterfinal and also in the semifinal. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for this review in terms of today's round of 16 matches. And again, tomorrow we finish up the round of 16 action with 2 more games and 2 more spot left in the quarterfinal for this World Cup. But as always, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.